Toyols or Toyols is actually one of my favorite ever mythological creatures I've ever read about. They are so cute because they are undead infants. And what's special about them is that they are thieves. They can steal anything for you. So many of those who own Toyols, yes, you can actually own a Toyol. You can actually ask them and instruct them on how to rob a bank, a house. They can steal things for you. So they're very, very skilled thieves. Okay, now that we know how useful they are, the question is, how do we get one for ourselves? So a Toyol is actually an undead infant. Very, very cute. They're undead infants. So you should be seeing a sample of an artist's interpretation of a Toyol right now. The creature, a Toyol, may be invoked in many ways. So you can actually own one. You can be a master of a Toyol. So there are 3 ways you can actually get one. You can ask a shaman to purchase a Toyol. You can purchase a Toyol from a shaman. So if you know any shaman, just go to them and tell them you want a Toyol for yourself. Second, you can make use of an aborted baby. And then you just do special way of embalming them or something. There's a technique on how you can get them. Okay. And third, you can actually evoke using prayers and whatever kind of ceremony. You can invoke their presence from wherever it is that they came from. So because a Toyol is like a child, you need to treat them like a child. So you need to take care of them. Once you possess them and once you become their master, you need to treat them and take care of them like you would a child. They need to be given a cup of milk. They have very sweet tooth, so they like candies, syrups, and you have to do that every morning. You need to give them clothing. You can't keep them naked. You need to buy them toys. You need to give them biscuits. There's also other unique ceremonies and stuff that you need to do for them, like light a black candle, incense, and there's some mantras that you need to recite. Some of them though will also smear their own blood. So if you're the master, you smear your own blood in the statue of a Toyol. They eat blood. That's how they improve their skill. They actually need to drink blood. So yeah, so that's how they enhance their skill. So they said that if there's a family member, or if you are getting married, a Toyol will visit you. The bride a Toyol will visit the newlywed couple before dawn, and it will suck the blood from the bride's toe until the bride wakes up. And then that will make him a better thief. So I don't know why it has to be a newlywed. I did not create this mythology. I'm just admiring it. I'm just entertained by it. The Toyols are mostly male kids, because females are supposed to be vicious and very, very difficult to control. They're moody. They have a stronger connection with their master, and so they become more possessive. They're very, very stubborn. If they want something, they will not negotiate. You just need to find a way to give it to them. They also have, of course, they like toys. They like dolls over other toys. Also, they will not perform the tasks given to boy Toyols. So they just like staying in their home instead of going out and stealing stuff for you. So they are usually used to guard the house. Because of the lack of usefulness, they usually are not preferred. Many prefer a male Toyol. So what's the benefit of a Toyol? So we now know that they can steal stuff for you. They can rob a bank. They can rob a house. What other uses do you have for a Toyol? One, they are very loyal, so they'll do anything that you want them to do, especially when the bond becomes stronger. Remember that they drink your blood, so eventually, as they they drink your blood, the connection between the two of you becomes stronger, so the more loyal they become. And that also helps you with the communication. Eventually, you don't need to actually verbalize to a Toyol what it is that you want done. They can just read your mind. Now, that has a downside, and I will discuss it later. So they can communicate through your minds. They will also they can also approach, so they can approach spirits for you, other spirits, so that they can ask for the winning lottery number, but it's limited to 4 numbers. I don't know why, don't ask me, but that's the rule. Okay, now, as I've said, it comes with responsibilities. Aside from giving them toys, they have very sweet tooth, biscuits, clothing them, giving them toys, playing with them. They also like they're babies, right? They're infants, so they like lullabies, they like hugs. They basically like babies. You need to give them attention. You do need to give them very, very nice clothes as well. Feed them. In fact, when you're eating, and like for a dog, you need to eat first and then you feed the dog, and they just need to know that you always go first. But for them, it's the opposite. So when you eat, they need to eat with you, and they need to eat the same kind of food that you're eating. If in case they can't eat with you, then you need to feed them first. Okay, them first, and then you go. Now, if you ever miss in your responsibility, or it becomes habitual and they don't like where it's going, they can actually abandon you or hurt you, and then they go back to the shaman where you purchased them to complain. So they're very whiny. They can kill, they can harm you. They get very, very jealous. So if, for example, if you have a new child in the house and you start ignoring them, they can actually harm the child. So there's a downside and a good side. There is a catch though. So since they are still infants, their brains are not actually well developed. So if you give them an instruction, you need to be very, very detailed. So for example, if you tell them steal $1,000, you need to show them like, okay, you need to steal 10 of this $100 bills, and this is how it looks like. Okay, show them. And then you need to tell them the rewards that they will get once they steal that. So for example, if you manage to steal $100, I'm going to give you 1 lollipop. But if you manage to steal $500, I'm going to give you 10 Kit Kats. And then if you manage to steal $1,000, I'm going to get you your favorite Happy Meal in McDonald's or whatever. Okay, so you need to be very, very detailed. So you have to, aside from being very, very detailed, you also have to remember the Toyols are just like a child. They're easily distracted. So if they go into a house, if they are going to do a burglary and they go into a house and they see marbles or beans, they can actually get distracted and play with those beans and marbles until they forget that that's what you give them. Okay. So those are just the disadvantages. So you need to find a way on how to keep them focused. And if you have a house and you don't have a Toyol and you think your neighbor has a Toyol, just put a lot of marbles in your house and they will not steal from you. They'll just keep on playing with the marbles and the beads. Okay, now you don't have, for example, you're done. You're done with having a Toyol. You want to move on. You've stolen everything from Elon Musk. There's nothing else for you to do or steal. You're happy, you can set them free. You can either give them back to the shaman where you got them from, or simply set them free. When they're free, they're pretty harmless. They just like going to different houses, and when they see toys, they play with the toys. They peek through people's lives, you know, they gossip and stuff. So, but nothing much. They don't scare people or whatever. Okay, so yeah, without a master, they're very, very harmful. Okay. That's a Toyol. There's actually a similar mythology in my country, which is called the Tiyanak, but they're different. They're not like this Toyol, and I will also talk about them in the future. So enjoy the Toyols. In the description box, you will see some references, literature that you can read about, you can check out to read about them, and also links to some artists that made their own rendition of a Toyol. Thanks.